Welcome back. Now let's get the show on the road. We're going to be looking at the National Assembly resolutions. Since democracy returned to the land in 1999, one crucial cry of the people has been the need for an effective and a truly independent legislature that has the courage to checkmate the actions or inactions of government. The National Assembly on Tuesday, June 5th, threatened President Muhammadu Buhari with the invocation of relevant provisions of the Constitution if he fails to take urgent steps to address the myriad of problems facing the nation. The Parliament, at an emergency session, listed the problems to include growing unemployment rate, poverty, insecurity, corruption, election rigging, harassment and humiliation of perceived opponents, and violation of the principles of the rule of law. So, aptly this morning, we have two legal practitioners to look at these with us this morning and analyze this with us. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Muyiwa Sobo. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Good morning.
As well as Mr. Tunji Abayomi.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for joining us. So this all sounds like legalese. What does the Constitution say about this, and how much powers do they really have? So what do you make of these this threat by the National Assembly?
The threat is unjustified in law. And the ground of impeachment is not because of a perception of incompetence by the president. It must be appreciated that a president is elected by the collective electoral power of the entire nation. And he becomes a repository of the executive power of the federation. Removing him is not an ordinary act. It's an extraordinary act because of extraordinary violation. Therefore, to merely come round and say because of the level of unemployment, because of one issue or the other, there must be a gross violation of the Constitution, infringement before a president can be removed. And it is wrong.
But
it is also wrong to
incompetence
threaten.
is one of the grounds on which one can impeach a president, isn't it?
It's not. It's incompetence. It's not.
It's very vague, isn't it?
Yes, it's vague. It's a statement without a defined contour. Let's understand that. And it is also wrong.
It's an amoeba.
Yes. It is also wrong, immensely wrong, to threaten a president or even an executive governor with impeachment. But it's abuse of power.
Impeachment was not mentioned in that conversation, was it? I mean, if you look at all the resolutions here, there was nothing about impeachment.
Well, of course, you don't. I mean, it's like you can infer. If there's only one means by which the legislature can hold, can discipline the executive, the Constitution only prescribes only one way.
Which is impeachment.
And that is impeachment.
Okay, what about withholding, for instance, the budget?
They are disciplining the people.
Not the president.
Not the president.
Okay. Mr. Sobo.
Yes.
What do you think?
I like to, let me just state this, that the essence of our democracy is that in having three co-equal arms of the government, is that one can check on the other, what they call the principle of checks and balance. So if you look at it from that point of view, I disagree that an impeachment or threatening impeachment is not grounded in law. There's provision for impeachment. And that process, even the thought of it, is what should hold the president, okay, it's in check. That to know that I may be impeached. Now, you have 360 members of the National Assembly of the House of Reps, 109 senators. They are the representatives of the people. They carry the wishes of the people, and they are the checks against the impunity of the executive. So, if the executive is acting in such a way, okay, that seems unfair, unjust, even in executing the law. For instance, all those things that are listed could combine, be grounds for such action.
Okay,
For instance, what they say, incompetence, unemployment, killings all over the country, and so on, and they point to insecurity. A competent executive will look at it and say, okay, fine. This is not a threat, it's a notice. They say, you have to address these issues before they become, we get to a point where we can now start talking about impeachment for incompetence. Yes, the Constitution does not state particular acts or actions. That is left vague on purpose. Why? Because now you cannot box the action of the legislature when it comes to that. I can't say, well, they look at the president and say, you're wearing a blue tie. We don't like blue tie. You can say that's irresponsible.
But let's, Mr. Bami, 1 second. Let's look at this. Let's begin with the first resolution, for instance. The security agencies must be given marching orders to curtail the sustained killings. Now, for me, the key word here is killings. Yes. Because if we go by the Constitution, which you're handling, says one of the primary responsibility of security of lives and property. Now we're seeing sustained killings. That's the way they put it.
With due respect, that's nonsense and nonsensical. Let me tell you the reason. First of all, the government of Nigeria is not in the hands of the legislature. Their duty is to make law for peace, order, and good government. So they cannot direct the president how to govern. That's his exclusive prerogative. So let us understand that. The other issue I want to bring to your attention, if you look at the section 143 of the Constitution, it's so particularized and very specific. It says the president or the vice president may be removed from office in accordance with provisions of this Constitution. It says whenever a notice is brought stating that the holder of the office, that is the president, is guilty of gross misconduct in the performance of the functions of his office, detailed particulars of which shall be specified. Guilty of gross misconduct. And gross misconduct has been defined. We are not the first democratic constitutionalized nation. There are so many cases. I wrote a book, Powers and Duties of the President, that was used during Obasanjo's regime, exclusive, that discussed extensively the issue of impeachment. So it's not just sufficient to say that the government is not, it must be gross misconduct. For example, something like corruption, you know, something like violation, specific violation, and you must particularize it. Because let us understand that we are also not the judge in this process.
We'll just take a moment and we'll come back to continue this conversation. Please don't go away.